It's time for the Northwoods Cooking Show. Starring Uncle Roy and Miss Callie, the troublemaking dog.
Hello and welcome to the Northwoods Cooking Show. And it's still Christmas, it's the holiday season, and I just still have millions of recipes to go through, but the only time permits, so let's see what we can do, okay? Today we're going to take and do some breads. First of all, we're going to start in making my traditional Jule Kaga, but there's a twist this year, of course. We're going to take and do it in a bread machine. This way, it makes one loaf, one large loaf, or you can divide in half and make two mini loaves. That way you can give away to add to your collections of treats in your gift baskets that you give away at Christmas time. Let's get into making our Jule Kaga. I'm going to take first of all and just run a little bit of warm water into my machine. My room temperature, and you might want to do this, it's a little colder, a little chillier at this time of year. My house, it's really cold. So I usually have to heat up everything. My landlord has it really cold. So anyway, what we're going to do then, first in this order, we're going to put in 1 1/4 cups of warm water, along with 1/3 cup of instant milk. Powdered milk, instant milk, whatever. I just like doing it this way rather than heating up milk. I find this, it makes it a little bit more smooth and more elastic. The texture is much nicer. For some reason, using the powdered milk rather than just using regular milk. So you have 1 1/4 cup water, third cup of powder milk. Next we need a ½ teaspoon of lemon juice. Oh, still got fudge from the last show. Oh, a ½ teaspoon of lemon juice. And then next we're going to need 2 tablespoons of softened butter. And like I said, I just take and heat it up in the microwave for about 10-20 seconds, just so that I can have it softer, because at room temperature it's hard as rock in this house. It's like taking it out of the fridge. It's cold. I need to heat that up. Not melt it, just soften it. Then, along with this, we're going to need 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt. Go salt. Because you know how it makes everything lighter and fluffier. And salt is a leavening agent, so you have to have salt in all your yeast spreads. If you don't, it's not going to rise. You're going to have like flatbread. Literally, it will be flat. And then we need 3 cups of bread flour. And we're going to take and level this off so we don't get an excess amount. Because the excess amount, it will dry it out. One, two, and hurry, get that in there. Oh, gotta get more flour. I got more flour in my pantry, which in this house is my bedroom. My bedroom is a big pantry. All my cooking stuff is in there. 2 tablespoons of sugar. And this is a sweet dough. Plus the sugar will help the yeast to rise better. And then you need 2 teaspoons of your active dry yeast. And there you go. Now we'll just put this in our bread machine. And we're going to set this on stage 8 of this machine, which is just your dough cycle. Dough only. Because we're not going to bake it in here. We're going to bake it in the regular oven. But I would like the machine to mix up everything. And it saves time for me and cleanup and everything else, so it's wonderful. Now we just hit the cycle, which is cycle 8. There it goes. I remember Callie, the old place, she has a bread machine come on, that beat, boom, down the basement, she went hiding. I don't know, the shrill noise of the machines like that, for some reason, scared her, so she went hiding. Oh, I miss her. So, that's it for that. Now we just let that go for, let's see, was it 40 minutes, I believe? Each machine is different according to your manufacturer's instructions. It'll beep in about 40 minutes or so. And then we're going to be adding a 3/4 cup of the citron mix. And this is like your fruitcake mix, etc. Usually you only can buy it around Christmas time anyway. And that's when I make my Jule Kaga. I love my Jule Kaga bread. Oh, it's so good. It makes great French toast. Oh, excellent French toast. 3/4 cup of raisins. And now a great way too of storing your raisins. It's chilly now, like I said, in my house, so it's okay. But if you take your raisins, the container, and put it in the refrigerator, store your raisins in the refrigerator, the coolness is going to make it easier so that you can get your raisins out. It's not going to be solidified in one big clump. And then we'll need a 1/2 cup of chopped walnuts. And it's got a 1/2 cup of nuts here. And these are the whole half nuts, so I'm just going to crush these up a little bit. You can just take and chop them up too if you want. But just using the bottom of your cup helps out a lot too. And let's put that in our container. And now we'll just wait for the beep, and then we can add these. And then that is it. So then we'll take, after it's all done mixing, then we'll just shape it into loaves, and we'll get back to you when that part happens. So just stay tuned. Okay, now we're going to go on to our next recipe, and this is a specialty recipe. This is going to be gluten-free Russian tea cakes. Ah, can you stand it? Yes, I do have gluten-free recipes at Christmas time. I even had some, what was it, last year? A couple years ago I had gluten-free peanut butter cookies. Today we're going to be making some gluten-free Russian tea cakes. Very simple to do, very easy, especially with the ingredients we have out there nowadays. What I have here is a half cup of chopped pecans, and we're going to take and just toast these up. Now when you toast them, you just want to heat them up, and that brings out the natural oils and flavors of the nuts. And so they're not so bland. It perks up the flavor, makes it much nicer. But you want to be careful now, because you can put these in the oven for like 5 to 7 minutes, or you can just pan fry like I'm doing right now. But you just want to be a little careful so you don't burn them, because it's very easy to burn them. You just want to heat them up just to toast them. I kind of put my hand over the heat, just to feel the heat coming through. And that just brings out the natural flavors, brings out the oils. You can do this with any nuts for any recipe. Okay. Those are warmed up, toasted. Okay. I'm tempted to leave it on there, but I don't want to burn them because they burn so easily. That's why baking is much nicer, but it takes longer. Anyway, so next we're going to take and do our flour mixture. Now Pillsbury comes out with a product called gluten-free flour, and this is a mixture of flours. So it has the blend of rice flour, potato starch, pea fiber, tapioca starch, and xanthan gum. That's all in here. In other recipes I have, you have to take and have like 1.5 of rice flour, 1/4 cup of potato starch, 1/4 cup of this, 1/4 cup of that, you know, blah, 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 blah. And each one of those things that you have to buy costs a fortune. They are expensive. When you put them all together, you got it right here. And this is a little bit more expensive than regular flour, but it's much cheaper than having to buy all those individual ingredients. That costs a fortune. So we have it already done. And then in our flour mixture, we're mixing up 1 cup of the gluten-free flour mixture, along with a 1/4 teaspoon of the kosher salt. Gotta have the salt in there. So you know the kosher salt is lighter and fluffier. It makes all your cookies much lighter and fluffier, and has less sodium because the kosher salt is flaked. So there's less sodium in the teaspoon compared to iodized salt. So it's a sodium. And then we'll just mix this in with a wire spoon and put this in our container. The one thing nice I like about gluten-free flour is that it mixes up so much nicer because it's such a fine grind. It blends in really well with your cookies and baking. Okay, we got that. And get my wire whisk. And we'll just blend this together so it's evenly distributed. Don't have to worry about lumps in the flour because it's so finely grind. It's almost like cornstarch. It's just so fine. That's what's nice about it. It dissolves nicely into all your products. Then in the blender, in the mixer, whatever, you know what I mean. We're having 1/2 cup of butter, softened butter. And we'll just take and break this up for about 30 seconds. Oh, timer went off on the Jule Kaga. I gotta put in the nuts and fruit. Multitasking. Okay, that's going. Now to do this, we need a 1/2 cup of powdered sugar. Turn this down to low so I don't get my signature mess of everything flying around. Oh, and don't forget 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. And we can increase that. One thing about gluten-free baking when we're mixing everything, you don't have to worry about over mixing because there's no gluten in the flour. So you don't have to worry about it getting tough. It's already done, it's there. Anyway, so we're just mixing this up until this is light and fluffy. And you let this go on for about another couple minutes. If you had double the batch, you know, about 3 or 4 minutes. And of course, want to scrape down the sides of the bowl. Basically, all we have in the bowl right now is frosting. Butter and powdered sugar. Okay. There we go. Now, we can put in our toasted pecans. Russian tea, I love Russian tea cakes. Everybody loves Russian tea cakes. And then we'll put in the flour mixture. And we can just mix this up. We can use the mixer, we don't have to do it by hand. Don't worry about activating the gluten because there's none in there. That's the really nice thing about it, like I said. But we don't want to, you know, overly blend it. Just make sure everything's mixed together until it starts forming together, making your dough. And then you can stop. So we don't have to worry about activating the gluten, but still overly mixing. That does have a tendency to toughen up the cookie. Just scrape the bowl, make sure you get all your ingredients mixed in here thoroughly. So I'm going to take and mix that just a little bit more. There we go. I remember too now also recipes that are traditional in my family and where I was living in Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. Growing up as a kid, we made popcorn balls, but nobody does it anymore. I don't see anybody making popcorn balls. And I remember as a kid going into the grocery store, remember people my age, they had the popcorn balls, like when you had all the specialty holiday baking candies and all that stuff, you know. Then you had a section of popcorn balls. I remember the popcorn balls were wrapped in either red or green cellophane, crinkle paper, you know, cellophane. And all wrapped up and had a big stand there, a big box, all the Christmas printing on the outside of the box and a huge box of popcorn balls. Nobody makes those anymore. I don't know why. As a kid, we loved them. I know they're messy to eat, but as a kid, you don't care. It was just something sweet to eat. But yeah, I remember those. Oh, and the holiday decorations and all the streets in your towns, they all had all the wires hanging, had all the old-fashioned garlands hanging from there, from like World War I and stuff, you know. I'm not that old, but they had World War II, I mean, but they had all those kind of decorations hanging. It was all that old-fashioned traditional Victorian Christmas. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now you're lucky if you can see a plastic candle anywhere. And now these all mixed up, and now we get out our cookie sheets. The oven is at 350 degrees. All ready to go here. With my parchment paper, I always put parchment paper down because that really helps to prevent burning. And you can still burn on them, don't get me wrong, but if you follow the timing, it's going to get like golden brown at the bottom, and you're not going to run the risk of burning if you follow the timing much easier. And cleanup is much nicer. So now we just do our little balls, and just put these down. And like I said, when I do them, I like to stagger my rows. On these sheets, I can do 4 and then 3 and then 4 and then 3. And when I do my 3s, I put those in between two cookies of the 4. So I'm staggering them like this. You got 2, and then my next row here is going to be in the middle there. So as they spread out, you can get more cookies on your cookie sheet. Okay, so let me just go ahead and roll these out, and we'll put these on here. And these get baked at 350 degrees for approximately 15 to 20 minutes until they're kind of to the light golden brown. Gluten-free baking takes a little bit longer than normal flour baking, so you just got to be careful and watch it. Keep an eye on it so it doesn't burn, and to rotate your pans. And then we'll be right back. 20 minutes. And then when they come out, we'll let them cool just slightly, and then we'll roll them in powdered sugar, because you want them to be slightly warm when you roll them in powdered sugar so that it melts the powdered sugar around the outside of the cookie. Oh, these are going to be good. Oh, now me. Gluten-free. And just remember to rotate your pan halfway through the baking. Okay, now our Jule Kaga bread is done, the dough. And we're going to just take and just shape it into loaves. I'm going to divide this in half and make 2. And then with any of your dough breads, when you use the bread machine, you just want to knead it for about a minute or 2, just to get that elasticity back in there. It's all risen and everything, but it just helps to mix it up just a little bit better. So this is a really soft dough, as you can tell. And then I'm going to take and just divide this in half, and then we'll just take and roll each half into a ball. And we'll put this right on our parchment paper. Okay, now we'll just take the Jule Kaga, we'll cover that with some saran wrap and let that rise for about half an hour. And then we can bake at 350 for about 25-30 minutes until it knocks on the bottom of the loaf and it sounds hollow. And now these are gluten-free Russian tea cakes. Oh, are these ever tasty. And remember now, when you take them out, well, just let them sit on the cookie sheet for like 5 minutes to set, because they're very fragile. Then you can take and roll them in powdered sugar and let them cool completely now on the wire rack. And these are just lovely gluten-free Russian tea cakes. Oh, they taste so good.
And a Happy New Year. Come here, Callie, get over here. Oh, don't you fight with me. Come here, get over here. That Callie and I in our upcoming shows. She loves her costumes, she loves dressing up. And this is the first time she's acted up. Don't pull that elf crap on me, girl. Have a holly. Oh no. Holly jolly. Callie, Alice, come here. Get over here. Come here and sit. Sit. I'm out of treats, too bad.
this is our lovely Jule Kaga. Oh, isn't that pretty? Now these just came out of the oven, so they're very hot yet. But I just took and brushed on some butter, some melted butter, and just let that soak in and make the crust nice and soft then. Then once this is cooled completely, you can just take and drizzle on some powdered sugar frosting. Just drizzle on some icing there. And then do a little Christmas sprinkles on top of that. And that'll make it a beautiful, beautiful Jule Kaga. While it's still warm, I'm gonna have a piece. See, then you just put on a few little sprinkles and then you got your Christmas Jule Kaga bread. Don't that look tasty? So I hope you enjoyed these specialty recipes. The Jule Kaga out of a bread machine and the gluten-free Russian tea cakes. Ooh, yummy yummies. These are just simple, quick tips for you to make for your holidays so that you don't have to have completely boring. These certainly will brighten up your holiday gift giving too. You put this in your gift baskets along with a loaf of bread. So you can have one big loaf or you can have two separate smaller ones. These are just perfect, and these are just wonderful for Christmas breakfast. Oh my God, these are just delicious. These are still warm, so while they're still hot, I want to cut myself a slice. And if you have leftovers and it's chilled out, whatever, this makes beautiful, beautiful French toast in the morning. So Christmas morning, you can just take and slice up your leftover Jule Kaga and make French toast out of that. It's a wonderful Christmas treat. So, from the Northwoods Cooking Show, I like to say, eat healthy, be safe, spread the sunshine, and Merry Christmas to everybody. And to all a good night. Bye-bye.